I'm Timmy.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Nathan.
And this is Three Old Tech Dudes.
Objects in this video may be closer than they appear. What do we got this week?
Hey, jumping right into it, huh?
Sure.
Yep. Not even a greeting.
No.
All right, that's fine.
We just did the greeting.
Well,
we
you know
said,
what?
hi, we're us.
That's true. Well, a while back,
I guess we could ask how we're doing. You want to ask how we're doing?
how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Since you asked.
Actually. How are you doing?
I'm okay. What about you? What are you doing over there?
How you doing over there,
Drinking that
Nathan?
orange stuff.
that's
Kind of
good.
looks like urine.
Are you drinking urine?
No, it's water with Mio in it.
What's
It's
Mio?
basically urine. All right.
Me?
No, Mio's, it's basically Kool-Aid.
He's drinking Mio.
Oh, meow, meow.
Meow.
He grinds up cats. That's
Ooh.
it.
Good grief.
Should probably go hide the cat then.
It's just
Actually, that's the
sideways.
funny thing is that she hasn't come down here and said hi. I'm really surprised.
Your new cat isn't nearly as friendly. I've known, or social, I guess. Would
But
be
it
the
doesn't
word.
sneeze and snot and stuff either. Like
True, it does not have feelings.
That's right. We used to make great jokes of the feline herpes that cat had.
Poor cat.
She was a
Rest
very
in peace.
social cat, though.
Was he? But yeah,
He was a very social cat.
Yeah, this one's a she, and I don't. Yeah, she's getting better.
Seems similar to the cat we have, which is equally standoffish. So
I don't think this one minds us.
no,
But
No, it's just one of those. She's more
we have
like,
nothing to offer her.
yeah, she's more like, yeah, I'm just gonna sleep. You're fine.
All right. Well, now that we've established how our cats are and what Nathan's drinking,
Yep.
or not drinking, and
So,
dang
what do we
it.
got this week, Tim?
So we're
We have mass confusion.
all right.
So this week we examine the insides of Timmy's head.
No, you don't want that.
Blown apart.
So a while back, do you remember? That's a stupid way to start this too. I'm not happy with anything right now.
Why no?
I've edited
No,
so
I
many of
don't.
these. It's like we start to sound the same every video.
Well,
I mean, I guess that's all right.
So did you go on the interwebs and buy something
I
again?
didn't buy this on the interwebs. One day, Justin was out tromping around in his hometown and
as I do
as
sometimes.
he does,
His hometown in Indiana.
yes, and which is different than mine. So, and he's all like, "Hey, look at this cool thing I found." It was probably a phone thing. It was like an answering machine or something.
That's right. It was.
Yeah. There was
I
something
featured
odd.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was some
And
kind of
I didn't
dictator
know.
machine.
That's right. I didn't even know if you'd
thingamabob.
purchased it
Oh,
or
yeah.
not.
I did.
But underneath this thing, there was a stereo sticking out, and I'm like, "Buy that now!" And I didn't reply, and I'm like, "Oh, where are you at?"
I sent the picture and shoved the phone down in the pocket and
Nope.
just forgot about it. 'Cause,
Then he
you
went
know,
to an appointment or something. You were not available to answer your texts. And I was like
I
in a
think
panic
I was going to.
because this.
I don't remember. I was going somewhere after the good or before the Goodwill, one or the other.
Yep.
So there was this stereo, and I recognized it immediately as the stereo I had when I was a little kid, the same model. Been looking for it for years in Goodwills or wherever. Not enough to buy it online because the shipping would be crazy.
Well, yeah.
Because it's pretty large. And sure enough, he picked it up for me for, I think, $10 or something. It was
Yeah.
almost nothing.
After
And,
he went crazy and blew my phone up, and said, "Where are you?"
Did you died? No.
He almost died.
So he picked that up and brought it to me. And
I'm not sure how happy a lark is, but you were pretty happy.
Was I? Good.
You were pretty
Yeah.
happy.
So the one I had when I was a kid, like most things I owned, got used. I learned how to wire speakers on it. The turntable was utterly destroyed because for some reason things got taken apart when I was a kid. And I know that thing, the other one I had was in such bad shape that the entire tone arm was completely missing from the turntable, as was the rubber mat. It was just completely obliterated.
You'll have that.
Yeah, it was just a pin sticking out the top of it. The radio still worked. I used it to amplify my Super Nintendo at one point when I figured out how the auxiliary inputs worked. It was my learning stereo, if there's such a thing. That was. So
That's why few of them exist today.
that's right.
Yeah.
So this one that I had was from about 1975. My mom had purchased it new when she was a teenager. before she was married or anything. And it was the one that Mom and Dad used when I was a kid. So.
And then you gave it the respect that it deserved.
That's right. It came to my room and never really escaped. So actually, I believe it still exists somewhere at my parents' house, but it is a basket case and would need a lot of surgery.
It's probably a box with all the random parts broken and
probably. So Justin found this and I just had to have it. And I got it, and it was in the usual 1970s stereo condition. The dust cover plastic thing on top was not with it. Everything else was good. The radio worked, AM, FM, great. It's kind of a unique look, and that's actually how I recognize it. It has two tuning indicators in the glass. One for AM and FM that move in tandem. That's how I recognize. I was like, that's it. That has to be it. It was.
Didn't you even send a picture of this unit to your mom?
I'm sure I did.
I was like, hey, look at this.
Yeah. She's like, oh, yeah, and remembered things.
Yeah. His mom's like, oh, great. Timmy brought more stuff.
She's used to me by now.
She's probably like, oh, great. Are you going to destroy that one too?
Yeah.
Anyway, I
burnt popcorn.
Put a little time in this thing and tested it, and we actually got the turntable working, and I'm going to show you how I did that right now.
The stereo we're looking at today is a General Electric SC-2007A. Some years it was known as the 9-7000. It's manufactured between roughly 1973 and 76. The one we're looking at today is from 1975. It originally would have had this plastic dust cover seen here, as well as this particular set of General Electric speakers, which were also not with it. This video is primarily a testing and Stylus repair video, so enjoy. Okay, I've got the GE stereo hooked up, and it sounds pretty good. It's pretty bassy. Noticed immediately I don't really have much in the way of right. It's pretty strong over here, so you can kind of hear. But if I wiggle this, I'm not sure if it's a bad pot or balance control. Everything's pretty fuzzy on this guy, so I guess we try some contact cleaner on that, just like we did the GE radio recently. Okay, we pulled the power. Go ahead and back this knob out. Oh, cool. It's kind of square shaped. A lot of dust in there behind there. I guess that's not too surprising. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this contact cleaner again, like we've done in the past, and I'm going to tilt this up on its back, but we'll get that shot in there. Okay, I think we're in good shape now, and sure enough, cleaning this seemed to fix it up. So.
To be too serious, although we'll have to wait and see.
All right, that one needs clean too.
Until Monday morning sometimes.
Let's try for left.
Second down and goal from the 5 of the Colts in victory formation. Miami out of timeouts. Play clock down to 2.
Social spending initiatives that include climate, childcare, education, and other efforts.
Cool.
The package currently. Democratic progressives and conservatives are at odds with each other, mainly over the price tag. This at a time when party.
Okay, we'll get into the Stylus here in a minute. So up top here we've got missing Stylus, so I think we found one, and we're going to try to put that in. We do have, whoa, hello. Got a lot of power. It does indeed function. First, let's get some power on this and verify that we've got, you know, connectivity to the cartridge, hopefully here. A little volume here. Oh yeah. Now we'll try to examine this cartridge. See if we can figure out how this is put together. Any look anyhow. Okay, that looks like the back right there of the same stylus that I've got in the box here. Oh yeah, there it is. So that's the root right here, kind of where my thumbnail is. A little hard to see where the previous stylus was and has been broken off. So what do? Do we slide this part forward? Okay, I watched a video on a GE Wildcat turntable, which apparently is a popular restorable. There's several videos on it. It uses most of the same components as this particular GE stereo we're working on here. And if you look, so this needle is currently upside down in the package, so the part that faces the record is pointing, you know, toward the camera at the moment. So there's a couple little notches there where it just kind of hooks on, it looks like. So, because he just used like a pick and pulled on it, popped it loose and pulled it down off of that. So we're going to see if that works with this one. Pretty nervous, I don't want to break it. I'd like to keep it in playable order, which is more than I say for the one from when I was a kid. It's going to be a little hard to get on the camera, but indeed, let's see if I can get this zoomed in here. This is a little hard to get to focus, looks like we got it now, but indeed, if you look right here, I don't know if you can see it, that is one of the notches holding that same needle on. So we need to pop this loose and that loose on both sides, and this should swing downward or downward and then out that way, it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's going to be hard to get on the camera, but I'll pull it back at least so you guys can see what I'm doing maybe. Break that. That's correct though. Sure looks like it anyway. Aha! So I popped one side loose and it came right out of there. I just used this is actually a kind of a pick deal. Most guys would use like a smaller pick tool to get that out. This is like what you would use to pop open a small electronics. It's from one of those kind of kits to put it through the creases. Here's a comparison before we remove the needle from the package. You can see where the old one's completely missing, but it looks like we definitely have the right part. So I trusted their cross-reference and it didn't let me down. It did say not to worry if it's a different color, and I agree. What we're after in the end is whether or not it fits the cartridge. We don't really care what color it is. Okay, let's see what I can do with this. If I remember right, remember that from when I was a kid. If you turn the turntable on, you have to have power switch down. We'll go ahead and do it though. The idea is it would stop, I think. So I think I found a record that won't be a copyright issue. Very old, locally produced gospel record of some sort. From the early 70s. And I have a pretty sweet vinyl collection, to be honest. Unfortunately, you guys don't get to see any of that because the YouTube, you know, they're not going to like that. And I also don't like record changers. I think they're hard on records. But since this record's reasonably inconsequential, let's give it a try and see if our changer works. We're set to 12-inch record, 33 RPM. So let's see what happens next. There we go. I think it's going to live. The record's jumping in the first groove. Good grief.
picked a poor record. Okay. Well, we've at least got it in there. We've got some work to do somewhere. Little pour on the left channel, so. Well, this whole record is just terrible. That's what it was. Okay, interesting. Well, at least we got a needle in it. That's something. I actually think we're dragging on the record a little bit on the cartridge, so I got to figure out what's going on with that. But let's test the reject and shut her down. It looks like mechanically we're mostly all in place. Yep, there we go. Pretty cool old record player and stereo. Alright, so we've got the stylus in, as you saw previously. Look at how this is at an angle on the cartridge itself that the stylus goes in. I like to never got this to stop dragging on the vinyl itself. And I finally discovered there's a little rubber piece, which you can't hardly see, that's up under here, that the stylus has to write against to hold it, the pressure of the entire tone arm up. But this is a pretty cheap turntable, even in its day. It was just meant to, you know, play records. I think it's direct drive, just by the way it, for one thing, it doesn't turn backward, and it spins down in a way that it can shut itself down from just the flywheel effect of the turntable. So yeah, we'll give it a spin here. Clearly doctored for super stereo. That's enough of that. So yeah, that's how you put a stylus in this particular GE stereo. What do you think, Eli?
I won't.
You want this one?
Maybe.
Maybe?
It's growing on me a little bit.
It needs a little more cleanup, and then we'll see about that. What about you? You want it at your house?
I mean, sure. I'm not as into those things as he is, but
Yeah.
why not?
A couple 20-somethings are into the 40-something radio.
One day I will be an old tech dude, I think is probably what I'm saying.
People already are like, you guys aren't old. I'm like, no, it's old tech. Come on, you know. I mean, think about it. It's not that we're old.
Dude, welcome to the waves.
Yes, sir. It is time for Welcome to the Waves, that part of each episode of Three Old Tech Dudes where we welcome a new amateur radio operator to the hobby of ham radio. This episode, we welcome Matthew Nicosia, Kilo November 6, Sierra, Kilo Sierra, KN6 SKS of Corona, California to the hobby of ham radio. We hope you enjoy and take advantage of everything the hobby offers.
Okay. It's time for Echoes from the Asylum, that part of each episode of Three Old Tech News where we hear from you, the viewer. It's a good time.
Who are we hearing from this week?
We're going to hear from Tron 3 Entertainment.
Tron 3 Entertainment.
Yeah.
Ooh, love the name. That's awesome.
Yeah, not bad. This is on our TI 99-4A video we did a while back. Mm-hmm. It's got pretty good traction. Yeah. Well, in our video, we went through several of the games Nathan got with his TI 99-4A, and one of those is Blasto. Had a tank in it, and it would fill up with dots, and you shoot things. I don't know if we really figured it out, but that struck a nerve with Tron 3 Entertainment. Not a nerve. It made him remember it. He has a story about Blasto.
Oh, yeah?
He says, I kept resetting the level until I got a high density level he liked, meaning the stuff in the background you shoot at.
Oh, yeah.
And a good level appeared on the screen. Suddenly, my hand twitches, moving the tank a bit, and fire, completely involuntary. The whole screen clears with one shot. I am awed and never duplicate the feat again.
Oh.
That would be a pretty good one, actually.
That's something. Oh. You guys want to do another one?
Yeah.
For this one? Yeah,
sure.
Why not?
Okay.
All right, this one's from News International. It's on the big 3 entry level 2 meter mobile comparison.
Oh, boy.
The world's most popular video ever. He comments, you're probably cheating yourself if you get a 2 meter radio without 70 centimeter 2 as your first. These single bands are better as a secondary radio. What are your thoughts, gentlemen?
I can kind of see that.
It's a fair enough statement, but I guess my argument would be that normally 2 bands means almost twice the cost. And
absolutely does. I
can say from when I was a new ham, a 2 meter rig was my first purchase. Now, yeah. I would say it also depends on your area. You know, we have pretty strong 2 meter coverage here with repeaters. So that just seems to be, I mean, we have some 70 centimeter repeaters as well, but people seem to migrate on or congregate on 2 meters a lot in this particular region. So it did everything that I needed for a while.
Right. I believe that you touched on what I was thinking as well. I believe it's a regional thing. Well, what if your density is 70 centimeters as far as how many repeaters or where the hams hang out in your local area or town?
Right.
That's, like to our north, there's a city where most hams hang out on 70 centimeters. That's not the case the further south you go. And to be honest, the 2 meter density is considerably thicker than the 70 centimeter one. Almost every area has one 2 meter repeater.
Yeah.
Even if they have no others. I went to Gulf Shores, Alabama last year. There were basically no repeaters in that town, which blew my mind because it's a tourist trap. There was one to the city in the north, and it was 2 meter repeater. That was really all there was to choose from. So it depends on where you're at and what's available. What the hams of the region have put on the air.
And what your budget is.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, here's the ICOM. It's out of stock right now, but an ICOM IC-2730A dual bander mobile for $249, $250. This is at R&L. Just a quick glance, but so I mean,
what's the IC-2300's price if it's on screen at all? Compared to that $249.
Is that the single or 20?
It's the single band.
I looked up dual. So the single.
I want to see the comparison.
It'll be about half the price.
Yeah, I'll guarantee it.
2 meter mobile.
I'll bet it's about $169.
2300 $179.95.
Okay.
I mean, they're cheaper.
That 2730 sounds on sale to me. No, but even though it's out of
$20.
Stock, yeah, that's
$20 sale.
That's a lot closer in price than they used to be. Those 2 models.
And I mean, if you want to go with off-brand, you can get them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
way cheaper, like the TYT or my favorite one, the Sakotran.
Yeah.
It's 2021. Everybody gets a middle finger as their first HT anyway. So.
I know.
2020. It's one of the 2020s.
Actually, John didn't.
He didn't.
No, his first HT was
still one of yours, or
is that the Yaesu FT470? Which is my old one, but
now my first HT was a Baofeng, but my first amateur radio was a Yaesu.
You make the RF sound.
My first HT was the IC2GAT, that big one. My first mobile was the Linko DR110T, I think.
There you go.
Oh wow, that's been a while.
Actually, I think the first time we met in person was to get your programming cable for Balefang.
I was probably involved. First time I met you in person was at the weather thing.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the
That's
exchanges that took place. Was I wanted to borrow your programming cable.
There you go.
For the Balefang.
I bet if we look in that picture that's in the club, I think you have a copy of it too.
I do.
Where it's the one I'm with, like a bunch of us sitting around. You can see my truck off one side, and they call
What's your little antenna farm?
They call the barf wagon on the other side. But I'm pretty sure that I had it probably at the time was my ICOM dual band handheld, which is the W2A. I think I had that
clipped to your belt or something.
I bet that's actually on my belt then. That was my first HT I ever bought brand new. Everything else before that was bought used.
Sure.
The 2G AT I had, I bought used. A friend of mine had it, bought it new, decided not to get his license, and just sold it to me for like half the price. And I was happy with that. That was fine because there's nothing wrong with that radio. And then, so I bet that was because I actually bought the mobile version of that same radio, which is like I thought it was a 2300, but that's actually wrong because that's that one. But 2310H maybe or something like that. But it was the dual band version of the W2A, and it worked perfectly well.
There you go. Awesome. Well, I guess we've determined a consensus, or have we? I think it's still better to buy those as your entry level, unless it's only 70 centimeters in your town. So
I don't know if it's. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely cheaper.
If you got the money, drop it on that dual band, sure.
Absolutely. But if you're not sure about the hobby, if you just want to kind of get your feet wet first, then, and if you have 2-meter repeaters in your area that are used, then there isn't anything wrong with a single band 2-meter rig.
Yeah, and I personally, like I said, my first one that I bought for me that was not like the only option I had was a dual band. But prior to that was a single band 2-meter HT. But my first mobile, which was not new, was a used one again. I'm kind of trying to think what that was. I actually don't think it wasn't the DR110. That actually was right after I got out of college. I forgot what I had now. That's terrible. I used that 2-meter. I used that 2GAT because I got that in college because it was a college friend of mine. I used that thing mobile because I was poor.
Right. Hey, it did the job.
And yeah, it worked. I talked so far on that radio. It was hilarious. I loved it because it had 7 watts. I bought the power adapter so I could plug it in the car and all this kind of stuff. And I had, it was just ridiculous. I was trying to use the thing, and at the back, that thing got just flaming hot.
Yeah, heat sinks weren't always the best thing there.
Ooh, boy, yeah, they were.
I run a dual band in my truck right now, and the last time it was on 70 centimeters was when I was doing crossband repeat at the Hamfest.
So you're not a 70 centimeter guy.
I'm just not.
But it didn't kill your battery this time.
I hooked it up to a separate battery.
Oh, that's right, you did. Oh, man. Well, thanks for the comments. We appreciate them.
Indeed.
Be sure to leave some more, and maybe we'll feature you in Echoes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
It's hard to say.
Let us know what you would do if you want single band or if you would do a dual band as your first preferred radio. I mean, some of us, that like my first radio, that's all gone now at this point. But
I wonder where Keith went. He'd have an opinion.
Oh, yeah. I'd say we were being a bunch of old biddies.
Gossiping about nothing.
Yeah. That's fine. I don't mind that.
We say the same exact things every time. I love it. Well, I'm fine too. I'm just waiting. He just gave up. He quit watching. He's so aggravated with our existence.
We finally crossed that line.
Come on, Keith. You got something to say. What do you think? You think dual bands are better?
This guy's going to hunt you down.
Come on, Keith. Where you man?
Personally, I don't know. I like dual band. I like having the options for it, but this is what happens when you let Timmy survive COVID. He becomes invincible.
It's balls to the wall now, boys. We don't care anymore.
Oh my.
Well,
Are you old biddies ready to get out of here?
just about. Hey, till next time, I'm Timmy.
I'm Justin.
I'm Nathan.
And this is Three Old Tech Dudes. You too, Keith.
Thanks for hanging out with us here on 3 Old Tech Dudes. Please subscribe to us here on YouTube for more tech old and new, tinkering at the workbench, repairs, ham radio, electronics, computers, and more. Please like this video and share 3OTD with your friends to help us grow the channel. We tweet at 3 Old Tech Dudes 1 on Twitter, and you can keep up with us on Facebook. Just search for 3OTD and look for our logo. Thanks so much for watching.